introduction to Chromebooks. This is going to be a pretty fast one. Just want to show you some of the different ways to use the keyboard and the trackpad on a Chromebook. Now, if you're a Windows laptop user, you're accustomed to having two buttons right here on the trackpad to do your right and left mouse click. Chromebook doesn't have that. Chromebook models more of the Mac style where there's just a trackpad and there's no buttons to actually press. So for students, this is always a new experience. If they're not accustomed to this, they don't know how to right click and do those aspects. So this is just a really quick overview of actually how to do this. So the trackpad's fine. You can just use your finger to scroll around, certainly. But if you double tap at the same time, you will get a right mouse click. So right here, I'm on the web page, and then you could save an image, copy an image, your usual menu items that you get when you right click on something. Okay, so that's really an easy way to actually do it. So let's go back down to the trackpad here. Most Chromebooks, you could just double tap really softly, or if you actually press down on the trackpad, it will have the exact same effect as a right mouse click. All right, so that's just a really important, simple thing to understand that for a lot of students causes a lot of confusion. Okay, so if you also want to press down with your one finger, you can then also scroll and move objects with the other finger. Okay, so it's kind of like pressing down on your left mouse button and then dragging and scrolling different aspects. So that's right now I'm looking at this picture on the website and I'm holding it down and I can move it around and do certain things with it just as you would on a regular mouse. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I'm going to show you some other keyboard shortcuts as well. So now in this part of the video, I want to look at some different shortcuts on the keyboard. The Chromebook keyboard is pretty much the exact same style and setup as a regular laptop or Mac keyboard, but there are a lot of keyboard shortcuts, and here's a great way to find them. If you press Control, Alt, and / together, this will pop up. Now actually, let me just minimize my screen here. Okay, so I'll go Control, Alt, and that. And I don't know why it's not popping up. I wonder if I can't do that while I'm recording my screen. Oh, there it goes. So here we go. So this I press Control Alt plus or Control Alt / and it shows you your keyboard on the screen. And if you just hit the Control button, it shows you what you can press Control with another key, and it will give you different shortcuts. If you press the Alt button by itself, it shows you all these different shortcuts. If you press the Control plus Alt, it shows you these different shortcuts. So it's kind of a nice way to look at and find all your keyboard shortcuts. Just press Shift. It'll show you what that will do. You press the search button. It'll give you some different shortcuts there as well. So just some fun little way to find out more about different shortcuts on your Chromebook. Okay, now if I gotta press it again though, Control Alt / and then it will get rid of that. The other thing I wanted to look at in this particular video was how to access your files on a Chromebook. Now remember, everything's being stored either locally on the Chromebook or onto your Google Drive. Okay, now we're going to talk more about Google Drive in another video, but there's your Google Drive icon right at the bottom of the Chromebook, bottom of the shelf, and there's your Google Drive. So I'm logged into my Clarence account, and it shows you all the different aspects of all the different files and so forth. And there's all my folders and organizing folders. I'm going to give you some links to some videos I made on how to do all this. This is really a separate course on how to organize your drive, but there's your drive. Now, there's also files you could look at on the Chromebook itself. Now, remember, this little files icon wasn't here. I added it from my Chrome launcher, from all my apps. So if you go to your app launcher and you go to all your apps, files is there. Now, I dragged that down to the shelf. Remember, you could double click on it and you could pin it to the shelf. Okay, so I'm going to open this up. These are your files. This is an important app to add to your shelf. Okay, now when you open up for the very first time, it always defaults to the download section. But if you click over here to My Drive, it gives you the exact same folders and files that you see over here in the sort of web interface of Drive. It's the exact same thing. So you can access your files either here in the actual file app on the shelf, or you can go into Drive and access them as well. But here's an important tip. When students like save any sort of video or save images, it always defaults to the downloads folder. Okay. Now, on a personal Chromebook, that's not a big deal because these will always be here. But on a school Chromebook, when the students log off and turn off that device, this downloads folder gets wiped clean. So anything they have in here must be dragged over into their drive. So all they have to do is just take a file and then drag it to any folder they want in their drive. That's really important. Okay. The same thing if anybody shares anything with them, they hit their shared with me. Right now, you can open that up. They also, if they ever want these to be in their drive, these shared files also have to be dragged over into their drive folders themselves. Okay, so that's a really important tip. I definitely would, tell your students that anything in the downloads folder will be erased. It must be dragged into their drive before they log out of their Chromebook during a class session. Okay, so I hope that made sense. So we talked a little bit about the trackpad. We talked a little bit about the keyboard shortcuts. And now we also talked a little bit about the files on a Chromebook. Okay, so thanks so much and have a great day.